Did Trump's presidency truly make America great again? That's the question we're exploring today. Trump's tenure in the White House was a whirlwind of activity, marked by significant achievements, controversial decisions, and a style of leadership that was unique, to say the least. Our journey will be chronological, starting from the early days of his presidency. We'll dive into the economic triumphs he touted and the foreign policy maneuvers that made headlines worldwide. We'll also delve into the controversies and challenges that marked his tenure, and finally we'll assess the legacy he left behind. This isn't about taking sides or pushing an agenda. It's about taking a deep analytical look at the impact of his presidency, the good and the not so good. It's about understanding how his actions, decisions, and policies shaped America and the world. So buckle up and get ready for an insightful journey. Join us as we take a closer look at the milestones of Trump's presidency. When Trump took office in January 2017, America was in for a whirlwind of change. One of the first things he did was to implement a series of tax cuts, a move that sent shockwaves through the economy. These tax cuts were not just for the wealthy, but for all Americans. This meant more money in the pockets of the average Joe, and more money spent on American goods and services. But that's not all. Trump also initiated a wave of deregulation, cutting through the red tape that had been hampering American businesses. This led to a surge in entrepreneurship, with startups popping up left, right, and center. Business owners were given the freedom to innovate, to create, and to grow their enterprises without the burden of excessive regulation. Alongside these policies, the stock market experienced an unprecedented boom. The Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, the S&P 500, they all saw remarkable growth. This wasn't just good news for Wall Street, but for the millions of Americans who had their retirement savings invested in these markets. These economic triumphs were not isolated incidents. They were the result of a clear and focused economic strategy that aimed to put America first. They were the result of policies that encouraged businesses to invest in America, to create jobs in America, and to keep their profits in America. Let's not forget the impact on American households. With more jobs and higher wages, the standard of living improved for many. People were able to afford things they couldn't before. They could save for their children's education, for their retirement, or just enjoy a better quality of life. Trump's economic policies were not without their critics. Some argued that they favored the rich, others that they were unsustainable. But the numbers don't lie. Unemployment was at its lowest in half a century. Wages were on the rise. The economy was growing at a pace not seen in years. Indeed, Trump's economic policies led to significant growth. But what about his foreign policy? Trump's foreign policy was nothing short of bold. From the onset, his administration was characterized by audacious moves that sought to redefine America's global footprint. One of the most notable was his historic meeting with North Korea's Kim Jong-un. This marked the first time a sitting US president had ever met with a North Korean leader. The goal? To bring about the denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. While the results were mixed, the meeting itself was a testament to Trump's willingness to break with tradition and take risks in the name of potential progress. Then, there was the decision to move the US embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, a move that sparked international debate. Regardless of one's stance on the issue, it's undeniable that this act was a clear demonstration of Trump's commitment to Israel and his readiness to make contentious decisions. Perhaps one of the most significant achievements of Trump's foreign policy was the normalization of relations between Israel and several Arab nations. Known as the Abraham Accords, this diplomatic breakthrough saw countries like the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain establish official ties with Israel for the first time in history. This marked a significant shift in the Middle East, potentially paving the way for a new era of cooperation and peace. But let's not forget the renegotiation of trade deals, the withdrawal from international agreements like the Paris Climate Accord and the Iran nuclear deal, and the tough stance on China. These actions further underscored Trump's America First policy, a strategy that prioritized American interests above all else. Trump's unconventional approach to foreign policy certainly left its mark, but his presidency was not without controversy. From accusations of undermining NATO to criticisms of his handling of relationships with traditional allies, Trump's foreign policy was as divisive as it was bold. Yet, whether you agree with his methods or not, it's clear that his tenure brought about a distinct shift in America's approach to the world stage. No presidency is without its share of controversy, and Trump's was no exception. In the realm of controversy, Trump's presidency had its fair share. 2 impeachment trials, the handling of a global pandemic, and a unique rhetoric style that had a polarizing effect on the American public all marked his term. The impeachment trials were significant events. Trump was the 3rd president in American history to be impeached and the first to be impeached twice. The first impeachment in late 2019 centered around accusations of soliciting foreign interference in the 2020 election. The second impeachment in January 2021 was about allegations of incitement of insurrection. Both times, Trump was acquitted by the Senate, but the trials were a testament to the divisive political climate of the period. The COVID-19 pandemic was another major challenge. Trump's handling of the crisis was a point of contention. Some praised his push for rapid vaccine development, while others criticized his response as dismissive and inconsistent. The pandemic's impact on America was profound, affecting the economy, healthcare, and everyday life. Trump's response to it became a defining part of his presidency. Lastly, Trump's rhetoric was a double-edged sword. His straightforward and often confrontational style resonated with many, but also caused division. Supporters appreciated his candor and refusal to adhere to traditional political norms. Detractors, however, found his language inflammatory and divisive. Regardless of how one might feel about it, his style undeniably changed the tone of American politics. In conclusion, Trump's presidency was a roller coaster ride of victories, controversies, and challenges. While his approach and policies were a beacon of hope for some, they were a source of concern for others. The one certainty is that his term was anything but mundane. Through triumphs and trials, Trump's presidency was undoubtedly impactful. So what is the legacy of Trump's presidency? The legacy of any presidency is a complex tapestry woven from the threads of policies, actions, and reactions. In the case of Donald Trump, this tapestry is as bold and controversial as the man himself. Economically, Trump's presidency was marked by significant tax cuts and deregulation, which spurred the stock market to new heights and led to historically low unemployment rates. His trade policies, though contentious, aimed at protecting American industries and jobs. The effects of these policies are still reverberating through our economy, and their long-term impact is yet to be fully understood. In terms of foreign relations, Trump took a decidedly unconventional approach. He sought to redefine America's role in the world, focusing on America first. He challenged long-standing alliances, renegotiated trade agreements, and engaged with North Korea in a way no other president had before. These actions have undeniably reshaped the global stage, and their repercussions are still unfolding. But perhaps the most profound legacy of Trump's presidency lies in its impact on American society. His unfiltered rhetoric and his use of social media to communicate directly with the public provoked intense reactions. For some, he was a breath of fresh air, a leader unafraid to challenge the status quo. For others, he was a source of deep concern and division. His presidency sparked a renewed interest in politics and civic engagement, and those ripples continue to influence American discourse. The legacy of Trump's presidency is as multifaceted as the man himself. It's a legacy of economic change, diplomatic disruption, and societal engagement. It's a legacy that continues to evolve even after he has left the office. Whether you are a supporter or a critic, there's no denying that Trump's presidency has left an indelible mark on America. To summarize, Trump's presidency was a time of significant change for America. We've journeyed together through the economic triumphs of the early days, the diplomatic maneuvers that shaped foreign policy, and the controversies and challenges that marked his time in office. We've also tried to grapple with the legacy that his presidency has left behind. It's important to remember that perspectives can vary greatly. Some will argue that Trump's presidency brought about an era of prosperity and strength, while others might contend that it was a period of division and controversy. Regardless of where you stand, your voice matters. We encourage you to share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. Engage in the conversation, respect differing views, and let's continue to learn from each other. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Trump's presidency. Remember, the impact of any presidency is not fully understood until years later, so the final chapter of Trump's legacy is yet to be written.